Oh, only other thing is I need to turn down the desktop audio a bit. That way y'all's voices are not, like, super overpowering. Uh, everyone in... so, Cold, could you just say, like, a good sentence about your character? What does your character want to accomplish today?
I'm a freaking wizard now.
Okay, that's good. Ben?
I don't know.
You're a wizard, Verve.
That's fine.
Val just did that.
Foul?
The both of you.
I'm going to try and talk as little as possible because my head is killing me.
Okay, that's fine. But that's all I needed. I'm just checking sound levels. And then Aztec.
Verstat wants to know what's going on in this spooky forest.
Okay, that's good. Alright, everybody's good there. I think we're set. Alright, so last time we left off with you guys meeting Anders von Brunner and his bodyguard, Sasha Kaminsky. And you all learned a couple of things going on around town. Or around the camp, rather. You haven't been to the town yet. You learned that
What's the name of the bodyguard?
Sasha.
Kaminsky, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You met the captain of the Bloody Hounds, who you technically work for, though you can kind of do as you please, so long as you don't get in anybody's way. All of you found jobs that you're able to work within the camp. That you can do as laborers anytime you just want to farm money, or potentially use those to accomplish other tasks. Other than that, you learned about a few tasks that you're capable of taking on. I think the only two things that y'all really actively learned about was that Anders is really curious about a supposed Tallite shrine that's hidden somewhere in north of the camp in the Hagercrib Mountains. And you also have vague orders from Captain Rolf to deal with the Redback tribe. Like, just do as much damage to them as you possibly can. So that maybe they can get the goblin problem under control. Y'all decided to go with the Anders mission first. The halfling asked around town and learned a vague but helpful enough directions about where precisely the cave might lie in the Haker Cribs, which is where you got the north hint from, and you set off at the end of last session to head into the mountains to seek the Shrine of Tal. Any questions?
No, sir.
Alright.
Besides me wanting to buy stuff before we go, that's it.
Right. What did you want to buy before you leave?
Stuff for torches.
Okay.
Light sources.
Okay, yeah, that's
Even
easy.
though I can create light sources, I
Drac
will
also has
create
a
stuff.
lantern.
Okay, well, that's fine. But
If you want, the materials you need for a torch are just 1 penny each, because it's like the cheapest garbage.
okay, I will spend.
It's a stick and a rag.
Yeah. I will spend. Where's all my money? I will spend 5 pennies.
Okay. So
23 minus 5 is what?
18.
Thank you.
outside of that, anybody else need to buy anything before you leave camp? I did go ahead and say that you will likely not need rations on this trip. You can pick them up if you want to be safe. But unless y'all get horribly lost, you should be okay.
What's the worst that can happen? Let's just go.
I'm sure the Dwarf Ranger has some kind of foraging ability.
Hey, I used to be a scout. Sort of.
Alright, so the four of you head off into the Reichwald that's between you and the Hayer Cribs. And you start making your way north, which at first is not that hard, because you simply go into the forest, you come out of the north side of the camp, and it's easy to make your way forward with the camp behind you. That being said, do any of you have the talent that allows you to know which way north is?
Ben does.
I do.
Okay, so With Ben's help, you can stay vaguely on track, but there are a few things you will need to check for as you go to make sure that you stay on the right path and don't wander into a potentially bad path. That being said, as you head into the forest, there's not a lot of trees between you and the peaks. It's a fairly short excursion. Like, you can see the slopes that you'll be walking up quite easily, but you still need to head through like a good 2 hours of woodland to get there. Oh yeah, be sure to change your thing in the chat. So as you make your way into the forest, you start running into rough terrain. Because the thing about, especially the Reichwald heading up towards the Hager Cribs, is that the forest is very heavily sloped. There's a lot of just dead leaves, especially since y'all are late in the summer. A lot of fallen trees, and generally it is fairly tough climbing to navigate. So you have two choices that you can make as a party. Because y'all do need to stick vaguely together unless you want to just absolutely lose each other. Option one is that you can press forward to make good time, to make sure that you're not stuck on these slopes in the forest, or that you make it to the slopes with plenty of daylight left to make your searching easier. However, if you do that, all of you will need to take an endurance check, or you can take your time, move a little slower. You won't have to take. You'll have a easier endurance check so that you won't. You have a lower risk of getting tired. But when you do get to the slopes, you will be at risk of nightfall slowly but surely. Nightfall will come into play later.
The dwarf is fine with taking a slightly more difficult endurance check. But, yeah.
Ooh.
Not sure how the squishier folk feel about this. Because I'm pretty sure my endurance is about as the rest of y'all's is combined.
I am pretty squishy, but it's up to you guys.
Well, the halfling has to walk like 4 times as much as we do.
No, I'm as fast as the dwarf.
Technically true.
You may be as fast, but you have to do more steps.
Do we have to go up that big steep hill with all that loose, moldy, and rotty leaves?
You're the one that pointed us this way.
You could
Well,
try.
because this is north.
If you want, you could try and find another way up, but you will have to wander a bit.
I will look at the ranger.
You're really good at this outdoor stuff, right? I will turn to the dwarf who said he does ranging things, wanders.
Meh.
Drac, looking around, you can convey this how you would like, but looking around, based on what you see of the Hager Cribs and what you saw coming out of the camp, nobody comes north. There are no roads leading north into the mountains, so this is probably as good as it gets.
Hold on, just hold on.
So how's it look, dwarf?
I'm holding on because Gold said so.
Yeah, it's fine.
Also, my water heater is doing a thing where it sounds like it's a bomb about to explode.
Oh, that's delightful.
Yeah, so if you hear like a high-pitched whining...
It's very faint. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yep. You're good.
Just, don't blow up, please.
Okay.
Put a wall between me and it.
There.
Well, damn! Alright, Verve, using your impeccable elven senses, having grown up in the Pine Crags, which are a forest very, very similar to this one, only way more treacherous, full of magical creatures that are actively trying to kill anyone who wanders off the beaten path, and leading to much higher and steeped mountains. The Hager Cribs are more like glorified hills compared to the Pine Crags of the Grey Mountains. You easily identify that if you were to head probably a little ways east, you could find a much easier climb. That being said, It would be a easier climb. You'd lose a little bit of time, but not nearly as much as if you were to very carefully pick your way up this hill. It would be a much more comfortable journey.
Verve will point to that direction and say, I think we should go this way. I think it will give us an easier time up the crypts, especially for you, Master, I forget what your name is.
Wrist.
Wrist.
Well, that sounds like a brilliant idea to me.
I would stick together and make it easier on all of us.
The dwarf will defer to the greater knowledge of treacherous trees that the treacherous elf has.
All right, so the four of you head east, and sure enough, the land kind of goes from steep slopes going directly up to the Hager Cribs. It starts to kind of flatten out a little bit and becomes a much more gradual climb. And the trees thin out a little bit, so there are more clearings. So you're able to make your way to that flatter ground, and it's to the point that you will not require any endurance check, because it's a very slow, moderate hike. It's nothing that would tire you guys out unless you were just hauling ass. So you make your way up, and within about 3 hours into your journey, you're approaching the edge of the trees. You're getting to the part where the trees are heavily thinning out. Many of them have been knocked down by random boulders that have come down from the Hager Cribs, or perhaps creatures that live native in the area. But overall, you've made pretty good time. However, as you're moving through this much easier to traverse land, all of you, Elf, roll a perception check based with your eyes.
Okay.
No one else has acute senses, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Only if I can taste it.
This one will not help with taste.
Could you taste
Am I
the
looking
scent on
it?
the wind?
Did you get my... What does Rover do again?
Rover...
Just
I have
plus
it.
10 to outdoors survival when outside of her.
Okay. Is it? Okay.
Let me check.
Oh, random thing. We are adjusting to the game's correct version of success levels, which means that, let's see, Rover gives you plus...
Stealth.
It's for stealth checks
Okay, cool.
in wild environments. So, basically what it is if you stealth... Okay, if you stealth in the wilds, your enemies cannot take a... Gosh dang. All right. Your enemies cannot take a passive perception check to detect you, unless you're, like, somewhere obvious. And then it also gives you +1 success level to stealth checks. All right, Verve. Your elf eyes see ahead of you. You get a really weird...
What do your elf eyes see?
Yeah, you get a really weird feeling as you're moving forward into a clearing right at the edge of the forest, and you get... There's something about the trees here that puts you super on edge, and it's difficult for you to pinpoint exactly what it is, but as you look around the trees, you notice there are things very carefully moving in the trees, and it's definitely not the actual branches or leaves themselves.
I will, as we're walking, I will slow down at the head, and I will say in a calm voice, there are things moving in the trees. Even they give me a creepy sensation from what I normally have felt back home in Woodroth.
I will clarify, you do not have a sense of, like, the trees themselves are moving. It's more like there is something that's fairly good at hiding in trees that is waiting for you to pass underneath them.
I will relay that to them. Anyway,
Rack will
Verstappen.
pull out his axe and buckler.
be calm. Don't provoke them.
Verstappen will try and act normal, but we'll stop.
Verstappen will
How-
pointedly not look up.
How many of these trees are there?
Things among the trees. Can I
So
get
we
an
couldn't say just
estimation?
avoid all of them.
As you look around, getting an estimate, you have a very strong feeling that there's a lot. That being said, it seems they're waiting. It seems whatever it is waiting for you to move further in. It's not yet suspicious that it's been spotted.
I will kind of stop us at the edge of the clearing and say, what an open space.
Indeed, my friend.
Isn't it a beautiful area here? I say sarcastically.
Perhaps the Madeline can light it all on fire.
And
We're in the right world. This is a terrible place.
And then I will say in a calmer, little quieter voice that they seem to be wanting us to go forward. And there is a lot of them.
Verstappen will whisper, so what do you propose we do?
Are they all around us, Sotek?
If you move any further forward, yeah.
Like, literally, they are down here, in front of us? Okay.
Uh-huh.
I would have thought you would have been jumping at the bit to burn down another part of the forest, Madeline.
Not if I'm not getting paid for it.
That didn't stop you before.
True, but it was an emergency.
Yeah, anywhere where there's enough darkness to cast, like, deep shade, or there's, like, a tall tree, and you look at it, Elf, close enough, you can kind of see beady little red eyes if you really are careful.
Yay, goblins.
So when they were moving amongst the trees, they didn't have, like, animalistic movements?
No.
Okay. I think these are a bunch of the goblins that we, maybe not inadvertently angered, but perhaps the same.
I'm fairly certain burning down their homes is a direct way of angering them, Elgie.
Verstappen will say, Rolf did say he'd give coin if we hurt the redbacks or something to that effect, did he not?
He did. I am going through...
I don't think any coin Ralph is going to offer is worth 4 of us tangling with an entire goblin tribe. Just in my point of view, I will say as I clutch my helmet.
Verstappen will mull that over.
Sotek, how many, with the spell sounds, how many voices do you think I can create? Like...
I think it specifies. One sec.
No, I'm
Are
looking
you
at
going
it
to
right
conjure
now.
more horrifically bad dwarven singing?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't give me a number.
Let me check.
They have to be quiet, though, is the thing.
Let's see. Sounds. So it has to be quiet, indistinct noises that are small.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, you can also do. It says the howl of an animal. That's not quiet.
right. Well, when they say a howl of an animal, think like a wolf howling in the distance, not like a dragon roaring at you.
Okay.
So you could probably create the sound of like maybe a small company of dwarves, but nothing like crazy.
Okay. Okay. How dark is it on the trail behind us?
Not very. Y'all, it's not even, it's like almost noon.
Because I'm looking at marsh lights as a way of maybe in among the trees I can put my wisps to work. Perhaps scaring them that there is more of us coming up.
Alright, have y'all been standing there this entire time, essentially?
Well, I gotta go through all this, and this in game time would take like seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but y'all are having conversations among yourselves, not because, well, Don't worry about
I
it.
did exclaim out loud what a beautiful thing this place was.
So I'd say like 5 to 15 seconds have passed.
I'll give you all a little bit more time to decide to do something before a thing will happen.
But do you get what I'm coming from with marsh lights, Sotek?
No.
That I'm gonna try and amongst the trees create 4 magical lights.
Okay.
Basically to maybe seem like we have a bolstered number coming up behind us.
I mean, you're probably better off just trying to spook things out of the trees by lights suddenly appearing next to them than trying to...
If you want to do that, you can.
Okay. Because goblins are afraid of elves, yes?
They are. That's true.
Okay. I will motion to the others to stay. And I will step out a bit, kind of at the head. And I will create... I'll try. I'll say that. I'll try, because, my record with spells. And create magical lights amongst the trees to our left. So up here. Wherever I saw... Not right upon a goblin or whatever that I saw there, but like coming up behind him. Does that make sense?
Yes, just let me double check to make sure I measured this map out correctly. Yeah, close enough. Make sure that it's somewhere within range. Yeah.
Oh, I got plenty of range. Okay, let's give it a try.
All right. You can go ahead and roll to cast, but the instant you do, so go ahead. Everyone roll for initiative. All right, Verve, you cast Marsh Lights, and it does successfully go off.
I'm not last.
You're welcome.
Also, Cold, I would make sure to change your macro to /EM, not /me.
It's because there's a space in it, in front of it.
Oh, there you go.
Me roll initiative.
Let's see if I can get a... I'm gonna get like a orb of light.
Oh, good. The whining
So
water
I
heater.
get four orbs. My wisps come out into the trees.
It's a little transparent, but that'll work.
No, wait, 5 of them.
Okay. Okay, let's get one that's slightly less transparent so I can actually see it. There we go.
Wasn't I just Verve? How come I changed back to cold? I didn't touch it.
Shenanigans.
Alright. It's D6 plus their agility, and their agility is 35, so they're at 39. Alright, so you cast 5 orbs, and I will... Let's see, grab all of them, and let's do... Edit.
So they walk in a straight line, passing through any objects or witnesses in their path, unless I test again to change their direction. So they don't... so they'll always go in a straight line, I guess.
Okay. And you just want them like over here?
Yes.
And where do you want them to move? We'll put them in a flying V formation. That way? Okay.
Yep.
All right. You call out and use your innate relationship with the winds of magic to summon forth these lights in the hopes that they will spook your enemies. We'll get the archers at a different... Oh, the archers also got a 4, so they're both the same. So... as you shout, and the lights sort of flicker into existence, you hear shouts of alarm come up from that side, and it's easy for you to draw your eyes to 2 goblins that are frantically pointing at the lights, and they seem very interested, but when the lights sort of just hover, their interest seems to very quickly turn back to you all. And suddenly, and one of them lets out a cry, and an answer comes from all out across the trees as goblins start pouring out from dark spaces, and you see up in the trees various goblins wielding bows made out of elongated spider legs, pulling arrows up and ready to fight.
Please
I'm
no.
pretty sure spider legs would categorically be unable to make a bow, but whatever.
Well, too bad. It's a magic universe. Bite me. Verve, you're up first.
All right.
So I will move forward. How far do the marshlights move?
It does not say, because that's the whole thing right
okay,
there.
then I'll do it automatically myself. Don't worry about it. They move at a walking pace. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will move them during your turn.
Frick my stick. I don't know what I want to do.
When in doubt, throw magic.
Actually, I'll wait until something happens. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I will cast Zap at... How far away are these guys? Almost to max my range. Okay. I will fire Zap out at... I'm not worried about the melee guys because they gotta get to me. I'm going for this guy way up north.
Okay. Cast away!
So, that guy right there.
Okay.
That was a good movie.
Ooh, a beautiful roll, and you can hit up to 3 additional targets.
So, all 3 that are in that cluster.
All right. So, speaking in the language of magic, you reach into yourself and shout as you throw out your hands, and a bolt of magical energy surges out, slamming into the goblin and immediately splintering like a chain of lightning into the goblins around it. You get to hit 4 targets total. So do you want to hit this guy extra or this guy extra?
Yeah, we'll hit the other archer.
Okay,
I'm worried about
so all 3 archers get hit, and the warrior gets hit, and you do... what's your willpower bonus?
My willpower bonus is a 5 now.
Alright, so it is 5 plus 6.
Damn, Cole.
So
That's a way to open up.
That is 11 terrifying damage that... 11, Jesus. That slams into the goblins, and they all screech as bits of their armor come, like, flying off in sparks and light flame as electricity courses through them. So they're all going to take a assload of damage. Let's see. So
yeah, right, Ben.
Cold is making up for lost time.
Yes, thank you.
Let's see.
Well, what I'm trying to inspire as much fear in these guys of, elves.
Sorry, man, you're not going to top my killing them via singing, but you're coming close.
11 okay. That being said, because you managed to strike all of the archers, they of course will waver as the branches around them crackle and pop due to the intense heat and electricity surging through, and we will see if they manage to maintain their ground or not. So we will do climb checks, which they get a significant bonus to. Okay. 86. That one's gonna, so the one on the left's gonna fall. The one on the right, the middle's fine. All right. So the one on the left, as the lightning bounces into him, it incinerates the branch below him, cracking it and splintering it, and he falls, striking 2 or 3 branches on the way down, screaming the entire way down until he finally hits the ground with a loud snap, and his neck pops out at an awkward angle, and he does not move. And on the far right, there is a goblin who, you noticed right before the bolt hits him, he is already significantly charred compared to the other goblins, like he's been in a fire recently. And the bolt hits him and blasts him off a large stump he's standing on. So he doesn't fall very far, but it does knock him off of his perch. And I'll do 1 damage for his fall. Alright. But the goblins definitely felt that. And it is a very impressive display of power. And so there will be some notable fear checks for the goblins that were direct witnesses to it. What's their cool? Their cool is a 20. So that one's afraid. He's afraid. He's afraid. He's afraid. And then these 3. Afraid. Afraid.
It's almost as if goblins are a very fearful race or something.
Alright, so most of the goblins who witnessed what just occurred, or actually all of them, are horribly afraid. There are a couple of brave, stupid ones that vaguely missed what was going on. And so they let out some small wahs as they, little wah as they come charging in. So this one comes running around the side, and he will go 16. Boop. And then this one will also go 16. Boop. This one over here is going to hold his ground and bravely defend his comrades, because that's completely and utterly what he's doing. And out of range. Out of range, and they're afraid, so they can't move closer.
How do I erase a line? I clicked the wrong button.
Alright, the goblin archers, fearing that you may be some sort of eldritch creature that is spewing out lightning and seem to spy them despite their incredible hiding skills, decide to unleash arrows at other targets instead, and save themselves the potential trouble, but they are firing at long range, so they will take a penalty.